Bienvenidos a México en el Espacio, el canal donde exploramos las misiones que están haciendo historia, los astronautas que están abriendo camino y los proyectos que están llevando a la humanidad de regreso a la Luna y más allá. Si aún no estás suscrito, déjanos tu like, suscríbete ahora, activa la campanita y únete a esta misión. Comparte este video con tus amigos y familiares que sueñan con el espacio, la ciencia y la exploración, porque esta aventura no se vive solo, se vive en comunidad. Aquí hablamos de ciencia, tecnología y futuro. Esto es México en el Espacio. Y el despegue comienza ahora. Victor Glover, uno de los astronautas más importantes de la nueva era de exploración espacial. Un piloto de pruebas, aviador naval de combate y astronauta de la NASA que se ha convertido en una pieza clave del programa Artemis. Su trayectoria combina experiencia en combate real, miles de horas de vuelo en aeronaves de alto rendimiento y una misión de larga duración en la Estación Espacial Internacional. Todo ese camino lo ha llevado a ocupar un rol fundamental en una de las misiones más importantes de nuestra generación. Victor Glover nació el 30 de abril de 1976 en Pomona, California. Creció en un entorno familiar que le inculcó valores como la disciplina, el esfuerzo y la importancia de la educación, los cuales influyeron de manera decisiva en su desarrollo personal y profesional. Desde joven se interesó por la ciencia, la tecnología y especialmente por la aviación. Realizó sus estudios de educación media en Ontario High School, en Ontario, California, donde se graduó en 1994. Durante esta etapa de su formación académica, comenzó a desarrollar un interés más definido por las matemáticas, la ciencia y la aviación, áreas que serían clave en su futuro profesional. Su paso por la preparatoria fue fundamental para fortalecer su disciplina académica y orientar su decisión de seguir una carrera relacionada con la ingeniería y el vuelo. Después de la preparatoria, continuó su formación académica en la Universidad Politécnica Estatal de California, en San Luis Obispo, donde obtuvo una licenciatura en Ciencias en Ingeniería General en 1999. Durante sus estudios universitarios adquirió una sólida base en matemáticas, física e ingeniería, fundamentales para comprender sistemas complejos y resolver problemas técnicos. Esta etapa fue clave para fortalecer su pensamiento analítico y su interés por la aviación y la ingeniería aplicada, habilidades que más adelante resultarían esenciales, tanto en su carrera militar como en su camino hacia el programa espacial. Tras concluir sus estudios universitarios, ingresó a la Marina de los Estados Unidos, donde inició su formación como aviador naval. Realizó el entrenamiento de vuelo en las escuelas de aviación naval de la Marina, completando el exigente proceso que incluye instrucción teórica, simuladores y vuelos avanzados. Durante su carrera como aviador naval en la Marina de los Estados Unidos, Victor Glover fue asignado a volar aviones de combate FA-18 Hornet, una de las aeronaves más avanzadas de la aviación militar estadounidense. En este rol realizó misiones de combate reales, operando desde portaaviones y participando en despliegues internacionales. A lo largo de su carrera militar participó en operaciones en el extranjero, y diversas biografías señalan que llevó a cabo misiones de combate en Medio Oriente, aunque los detalles específicos de estas operaciones no han sido divulgados públicamente. Esta experiencia le permitió desenvolverse en entornos de alta presión y riesgo real. Gracias a su trayectoria, a lo largo de su carrera, Victor Glover acumuló más de 3.000 horas de vuelo en más de 40 tipos de aeronaves. Entre las aeronaves más importantes y más utilizadas que voló, se encuentran el FA-18 Hornet, su principal aeronave como aviador naval de combate, con la que realizó misiones reales, participó en despliegues desde portaaviones y llevó a cabo operaciones en el extranjero. El T-45 Goshawk, un avión de entrenamiento avanzado de la Marina, que utilizó durante su formación como piloto naval, especialmente en la transición hacia aeronaves de alto rendimiento. El T-6 Texan II, empleado en las primeras fases de instrucción de vuelo, donde se consolidan las habilidades básicas de pilotaje y disciplina aérea. Y el T-38 Talon, un jet supersónico de entrenamiento, ampliamente utilizado tanto por pilotos de pruebas como por astronautas de la NASA, clave para preparar vuelos de alta velocidad y operaciones complejas. Esta amplia experiencia en distintos tipos de aeronaves le permitió desarrollar una combinación excepcional de habilidad técnica, capacidad operativa y control bajo presión, cualidades fundamentales para su posterior selección como astronauta. Gracias a su desempeño, experiencia y capacidades técnicas, fue seleccionado para continuar su formación en la Air Force Test Pilot School, donde se preparó como piloto de pruebas. En esta etapa voló distintos tipos de aeronaves experimentales y operativas, evaluando sistemas, rendimiento y seguridad de vuelo, una de las responsabilidades más exigentes dentro de la aviación militar. Su experiencia como aviador naval y piloto de pruebas fue fundamental para su posterior selección como astronauta, ya que combinó disciplina operativa, conocimiento técnico y capacidad para operar en entornos extremos. Como parte de su especialización profesional, en 2007 obtuvo una maestría en Ciencias en Ingeniería de Pruebas de Vuelo en la Air Force Test Pilot School, perteneciente a la Universidad del Aire, en la Base Aérea Edwards, California. Posteriormente, en 2009, completó una maestría en Ciencias en Ingeniería de Sistemas en la Naval Postgraduate School. Finalmente, en 2010, obtuvo una maestría en Arte y Ciencia Operacional Militar en la Universidad del Aire, en Montgomery, Alabama, consolidando una de las formaciones académicas más completas dentro del ámbito aeroespacial y militar estadounidense. Gracias a toda su experiencia como aviador naval y piloto de pruebas, en 2013 fue seleccionado como astronauta de la NASA, formando parte del Grupo 21, también conocido como The 8 Balls. A partir de ese momento, comenzó un entrenamiento intensivo que incluyó preparación física, caminatas espaciales, robótica, sistemas de la Estación Espacial Internacional, supervivencia y operaciones de naves espaciales. En 2020 viajó al espacio por primera vez como piloto de la misión SpaceX Crew 1, la primera misión operativa tripulada de la nave Crew Dragon de SpaceX. Durante esta misión permaneció 168 días a bordo de la Estación Espacial Internacional, donde participó en una amplia variedad de experimentos científicos, mantenimiento de sistemas críticos y actividades de investigación en microgravedad. Durante su estancia en la Estación Espacial Internacional, Victor Glover realizó 4 caminatas espaciales, en las que acumuló más de 26 horas de actividad extravehicular. En estas salidas al exterior de la estación, contribuyó a la actualización de sistemas eléctricos, la instalación de nuevos equipos y la mejora de la infraestructura externa del complejo orbital. Además, desempeñó un papel clave en las operaciones diarias de la estación, demostrando liderazgo, precisión técnica y la capacidad de trabajar en uno de los entornos más exigentes que existen, el espacio exterior. Con la misión Crew 1, Victor Glover se convirtió en el primer astronauta afroamericano en formar parte de una misión de larga duración en la Estación Espacial Internacional, marcando un hito histórico dentro del programa espacial estadounidense. Su selección para Artemis II se debe a una trayectoria marcada por la experiencia operativa, la preparación técnica y el desempeño comprobado en misiones espaciales. Su participación en la misión SpaceX Crew 1, donde pasó varios meses en la Estación Espacial Internacional, demostró su capacidad para operar en misiones de larga duración y en entornos de máxima exigencia. Esta combinación de experiencia en vuelo, trabajo técnico en el espacio y capacidad para tomar decisiones bajo presión llevó a la NASA a seleccionarlo como piloto de una misión que, en esencia, es un vuelo de prueba tripulado alrededor de la Luna. Artemis II pondrá a prueba por primera vez todos los sistemas de la nave Orion con una tripulación a bordo, desde la navegación en el espacio profundo hasta las comunicaciones, el soporte vital y los procedimientos de emergencia. En este contexto, el papel del piloto es fundamental y la trayectoria de Victor Glover lo posiciona como uno de los perfiles más preparados para asumir esa responsabilidad. Victor Glover representa el tipo de astronauta que el programa Artemis necesita para abrir el camino hacia el regreso definitivo del ser humano a la superficie lunar. Su experiencia combina aviación de combate, pruebas de vuelo misiones espaciales de larga duración y trabajo técnico en condiciones extremas. Más allá de los logros individuales, su participación en Artemis II simboliza una nueva etapa en la exploración espacial, en la que el conocimiento, la preparación y el trabajo en equipo serán clave para llevar a la humanidad nuevamente a la Luna, y en el futuro, más allá. Si te interesa el futuro de la exploración espacial y las misiones que nos están acercando nuevamente a la Luna, suscríbete a México en el Espacio, deja tu like y activa la campanita para no perderte ninguno de nuestros videos. Comparte este contenido con tus amigos y familiares que aman la ciencia, el espacio y la exploración espacial, y ayúdanos a que esta comunidad siga creciendo. Déjame en los comentarios qué misión o astronauta te gustaría que analicemos después. Nos vemos en el próximo video, porque el regreso a la Luna ya está en marcha.
Food tastes different in space?
Great question. Yes and no. On Earth, when you have gravity, warm air rises because it's less dense. And so what that means, when you make coffee, the steam rising off of your coffee, the warm air, you get that smell of the coffee. Right. Well, in space, the warm air and the cold air, even though they have different densities, they don't move without circulation, air blowing them. What you taste is affected by what you smell. Right. So, for example, coffee, it's in a bag. I made coffee. I couldn't drink it for about a month because the taste without the smell, it was throwing me off. Okay. And one of my crewmates created a cup so that liquid doesn't fly out of the cup. It's a very narrow cup, but I made it in this special cup, and then I stuck my nose in it, and then I enjoyed my first cup of coffee after almost 45 days in space. Okay. And so it does taste different. Right. But not because the food tastes different, because our bodies respond.
Spacecraft that you have ever piloted and why?
My favorite aircraft, easy, is the F-18 Hornet. So I have flown a spaceship and lived on the space station. The reason that the F-18 is my favorite of all things is because I flew it in combat. And that is just an experience that is irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. You know, that thing protected me. It even enabled me to protect soldiers and sailors and Marines on the ground sometimes. And that just, I will never have the privilege and the honor and the responsibility of operating another machine that does all of those things. You know, a spaceship protects you.
Yeah.
And you know, when we're zinging past the moon in Orion, which will probably be my next favorite spaceship thing that I've flown, you know, aerospace vehicle.
Definitely. When
we're getting kind of far away from the Earth and about 10,000 miles away, we're going to actually take the Orion spacecraft, and it's mostly flown by software. And so we're going to take it out of automatic mode and put it in, you know, fly it by hand mode. And we're going to approach the upper stage, that rocket, that ICPS I was talking about, and we're going to simulate docking to it to make sure that it's ready for the precision docking that would happen on the landing mission. You know, I'm a test pilot in the Navy.
Yep.
And being able to test fly a spaceship is just like, that's super special. And so I'm really looking forward to flying.
Or a movie that takes place in space or deals with space.
You know, I really enjoyed a series called The Expanse. I actually watched the final season of that while I was on the International Space Station. I mean, I'm floating in weightlessness and watching a show about space. It's like it. I love Andy Weir, period, all of his writing. The book, The Martian, the movie, The Martian, and then the book, Project Hail Mary. And so there's a lot, and it's cool that there's so much
that's
about
great.
Space.
What are some common things you see in TV or movies that you know get a little bit wrong about going into space?
I would say that the easiest category is just time. My first spacewalk, I was outside for 7 hours plus or minus. But I was in the suit for about 3 hours before I went outside and about an hour after. It is slow, methodic, there's a checklist, and somebody's helping you do it. In the movies, it's often very fast. You'll see people jump into things, they'll like pull a lever, and they always put steam in there. I don't know why there's always like steam sprayed in the room, and then they go outside into space. And they come back in and put the lever the other way, and then they go inside. And it's like, your body doesn't work that fast. The other one, I think, is this. I may be getting into like controversial area here. Let me be careful how I say this, but the idea of heroism or heroics or heroes, I just think that whole narrative is challenging. They make us almost untouchable or unobtainable.
Yeah.
That's not the message we want to give kids. I'm a human and I make mistakes and I learn and I fail people and I fail myself. I let myself down. And that piece, I think, is not communicated because you make this image of this person that is just infinitely resilient and they always have something funny and insightful. And the worst situation ever could happen and they'll smile and they look good and they handle it and they do it like it was no big deal. And it's, yeah, there's some of those moments, but often it's not that person. It was a team, somebody on the ground that you'll never know their name did it. And I just think we need to be a little more nuanced in that.
Of that kind of misinformation about outer space.
Yeah, I will say a couple things, because this has been a conversation for 12 years since I've had this job. The fact that so many humans are focused on outer space and deep space exploration is a strength. That's a good thing. Whether we agree about things or not isn't as important to me as the willingness to engage in dialogue. That's important. And if we're willing to engage in a dialogue, to me that's more important than me convincing you or winning a conversation. And this idea of flat or round, and it's not perfectly round, it's an ellipsoid, right? It's like a tomato. And I've seen that with my own eyes. I don't really judge that perspective. I try to focus on the conversation that it starts.
Is there any piece of misinformation, like anything that is remarkably persistent, that just kind of makes you scratch your head? Like, people still talk about the moon landing and whether it was real.
I think, we're going to try to do it again soon, and so pay attention when we do it this time, and now you can judge for yourself. The ability now to use imaging technology to watch things fly into and out of our atmosphere and beyond, hopefully people can decide for themselves. Is it real or not?
Sure.
And so, hey, stay tuned for Artemis 2, and then eventually when we land on the surface of the moon again, people can judge for themselves,
Astronaut.
Oh, wow. So many ways. I think there's so many transferable things. There's like kind of easy things to account for, like I'm a pilot. I'm a naval aviator and astronauts all fly. So there's those kind of tactical level things that transfer.
Right.
But in a bigger sense, in a strategic sense, serving your country, understanding the principles, values, and ethics of a system, that to me, maybe, kind of subjugating your personal to the larger, that is a huge part of going from the Navy to NASA. The International Space Station is 15 to 18 countries, depending on how you count it. Every individual crew member could be from a different country, possibly. And so we speak 2 languages minimum on the space station. Russian and English are spoken all the time on the space station. And then you add French and Japanese and Czech and Croatian, Hungarian, Indian. The bigger picture, not in spite of those things, but using all of those things, using the strength of all that variation. It was different in the Navy, but that same multinational effort, we do that at NASA.
It's your body from your first mission to space.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
So because you don't have, my body weight pulling down on me, I stretched out about an inch.
Really?
I was 6 feet tall for the first time in my life. I was actually taller.
That's awesome.
My spine expanded, and so while I was in space, as soon as I got back to Earth, I lost it all. Compressed right back. But your body can adapt to almost anything.
Yeah.
And so you get to space, and your body goes, oh, I don't feel my weight. This is great. But it starts to adapt to that. Coming back to Earth, then I had to get used to weighing 200 pounds again.
Yeah.
And so adjusting back to living in gravity was actually harder than adjusting to living in space.
Wow.
That was very surprising.
I think just another question is what was your exercise regimen up there?
Great question. One of my favorite things. People always want to ask about science. Exercising on the space station was my favorite thing. It's science and engineering all together. And also the human experience. It was a big part of just what felt good. It felt normal because you're floating all day.
Yeah.
Every day, you always had sleep, you always had a midday meal, and you always had exercise.
Cool.
You get 2.5 hours every day to exercise. That sounds like a lot, but that's time to do strength training, time to do your cardio training, either the bike or the treadmill, and then time to clean up and get dressed to start work. And so I love that.
How you doing? Good to see you. Awesome.
Nice, very nice.
So my question to you,
Yes.
How did you deal with missing your friends and family while you were in space?
Good question. I think thinking about what we were going to do before is a part of what made it not feel so lonely. You know, we had a plan, playing games or, you know, singing songs or, you know, we're going to like watch church services.
Yeah.
It didn't feel, it's actually very strange. Like as isolated as we were, I would not use the term lonely. I didn't feel lonely. The things that I missed the most were helping you guys with homework, going to performances or track meets. And I don't know if you remember, I even had one of your sisters take a picture of her homework and email it to me so I could try to like help her with her homework
yeah.
while I was in. It did not work out well. That was it. It was just too tough.
Yeah.
But I didn't miss many other things. You know, I didn't miss even, you know, I love flying. I love flying the jets. I didn't miss it. While I was in space, I was enjoying that more. But I missed some of those family events. I also appreciated that you guys were really good. Like I have a DVD or not a DVD, an external memory device of all the pictures and videos. Like you guys made me a Christmas song and videos of like, you know, birthday songs,
Yep.
all of it. Like I felt included and cared about, you know, and like you guys made me feel like I was a part of it even though I was far.
You know, those faculty members that made the biggest impression on you?
Dr. Locascio changed the trajectory of my life. More than anyone other than maybe my parents or my spouse. And a big part of it was failing his class. I failed fluid dynamics because I did not give it the time that it deserved. Mm-hmm. And I went to talk to him, and he said something to me that I share with people today. You're not here to get a job. That's easy. You're here to learn to think. And that just shifted a gear for me. And I started to think about what I was doing as an undergrad differently. You know, I wasn't doing this for some outside entity. I was doing this because this is what I'm going to walk away able to do. Dr. Locascio, I think, epitomizes what, even as a student, I felt. Cal Poly cares about undergraduate students. It's just hard to put that in context. I've been to a lot of different universities, and so I've been able to feel it in other places, and Dr. Locascio changed my life.
I just want to say it's great to sit down and talk with you this morning. It's been one of the joys and honors of my life to get to know you and count you as a friend.